Today we got some insane breaking news for the Major 1 Summit, as Clix is now going to be contesting Peterbot at the Squibbly Shore. And no, that is not troll. Clix will be contesting Peterbot at the Major 1 Summit. So the first big land of the year is about to be filled with insane content. We have the two biggest personalities fighting off spawn. Sadly, it is NA versus NA. And me personally, I'm not too sure why Clix is going to be making this move, but here's what Clix had to say about it.
Yeah, this is the smartest decision for us. I don't need to really tell y'all the reasons why. I feel like it's really, it definitely is really self-explanatory, bro. It really is self-explanatory, dude. Makes the most sense. It's an easier team than the team we were conning. No offense to Pete. It's just smarter, bro.
26-month sell FG.
The thing is, conning Sharkatini, someone who we literally see once every year, it's just not worth it. It doesn't even make sense. So we're not benefiting, rather than someone we're going to see in every single tournament.
I don't necessarily agree with Clix when he says that fighting Peterbot might be easier than fighting Shark, since he's going to be able to fight Peterbot a lot more since it's on an A. But that doesn't really make too much sense to me, as he's not going to really be fighting Peterbot a lot at Squibbly before the FNCS Major 1 Summit. There's only one finals, maybe a couple days of scrims before that, and I doubt they're really going to fight off spawn much at Squibbly and Opens. They didn't fight today earlier in the Div 1 Opens at Squibbly at all, and I definitely don't think they're going to fight really on day 2 of the Divisional Cup tomorrow at Squibbly at all. The only time they will fight is in finals. If Clix even contested in finals, he might still land Wonky Land before the FNCS Major 1 Summit. Maybe he stays Wonky Land and isn't conning Squibbly. But I do kind of agree with maybe the aspect of Clix trying to grief Peterbot and make him not qualify to the Global Championship, since he would have easily qualified to the Global Championship from the Major 1 Summit if he was uncontested. Top 15 uncontested would have been really easy for Peterbot. And I think Clix is just trying to make it so that Peterbot couldn't qualify to globals and then basically go wherever he wanted and grief whoever he wanted in the Major 2 and Major 3 FNCS Grand Finals. So I think Clix is trying to do that to make it to where it's kind of an even playing field for him on an A. But I do think this puts a huge target on his back for both Reload, which he already has a big target on his back since he griefed Agers and Ritual yesterday in the Reload Elite Series Finals. And now he has Peterbot probably going to grief him out of qualifying to the Reload Elite Series Championship now. And then also, if Peterbot somehow qualifies in Major 2 to the Global Championship and Clix doesn't, he's probably going to grief Clix out of making globals. So this could potentially have a domino effect of making Clix not qualify to both of the huge lands later this year, being the Reload Elite Series land at Esports World Cup and the FNCS Global Championship later this year. Let me know your guys' thoughts on Clix moving from conning Shark and Teeny at Wonky Land to now conning Peterbot and Poyo at Squibbly Shores, and if you think it was a good idea from Clix, and also how you think the off-spawn fight is going to go at LAN. I definitely see them both griefing each other. I think both of their FNCS Major 1 Summits are pretty much cooked. I don't really see either of them qualifying to the FNCS Global Championship now. Whereas before, I really thought that Clix was going to maybe split Wonky Land with Shark. Maybe him and Shark have a chance of getting top 15. And then I thought Peterbot was one of the favorites to win the entire Major 1 Summit. Now that is not going to happen with him being contested. And sadly, NA on NA violence is just a common theme with the FNCS Summit land as of right now. We now have Peterbot versus Clix at the Squibbly Shore. We also have Reap versus Agers at the Latte Landing. And then we also potentially might have Cold versus Chance at 4 Fields. I don't really think Chance is going to end up landing 4 Fields, but right now, on paper, Cold is also conned. And then we also have the chance of maybe Yamzo qualifying from lower bracket to contesting Acorn. So there could be 4 different scenarios where top NA teams are contested by other NA teams at the FNCS Major 1 Summit. So I think with all of that, NA is absolutely finished at the Major 1 Summit. We might have 13, maybe even 14 EU teams qualifying to the FNCS Global Championship. And I think as of right now, the only teams that might be uncontested at the Major 1 Summit are going to be Curve and Vino South Battlewood. I don't really see them getting conned by anybody. The only team with really a chance of conning them is Akira and Kurama, but they just won the Division 1 finals from south of Battlewood at the spot underneath where Vino's going. So I think they could probably go there in finals. And then the other NA team that might be uncon is Acorn and Bolts. And that's all dependent on where Josh and Iamzo go once they qualify out of lowers, which I think they are going to easily do. So as of right now, those are the 2 NA teams that look like they should be uncontested. Maybe Cold and Rapid are also added to that group at 4 fields. But if you take a look at the map, we have tons of top EU teams uncontested, especially in the upper bracket. We have teams like Sky and Scroll, Shark and Teeny, now uncontested at Wonkyland, Focus and Thomas HD, uncontested at the Riptides, even though I do think they are going to be conned by Yamzo. And then we have some other teams that are uncontested, like Adarm Dimas, Cammy, and Shari, and also teams like Vico Malabuka uncontested as well. Some of these teams might end up getting conned by NA teams from lower bracket, like a Shadow Virgo or maybe a Osid and Scare end up conning some of these teams. But most of these top tier EU teams are all uncontested, and I think the leaderboard is going to be absolutely filled with EU teams. It's looking really bad for NA, especially since one of the best teams on the region, Peterbot and Poyo, are now going to be contested by Clix and Higgs. Clix and Higgs really playing spoiler for NA here. And also Agers and Ritual, who ended up switching to Con Reet and Cooper. We're all just taking each other out. NA is absolutely doomed for finals. I don't know about you guys, but I think NA's doomed. I think it's going to be a really EU-dominated land now. But maybe some of the underrated NA teams will pull through, like Zavia, Minish, maybe a King and Craze. Maybe they pull through for an A in finals. But right now, it's looking very bad. But I do think with Clix versus Peter off spawn, yes, we are going to have a lot of content. But me personally, of course, I would have loved to see Peterbot uncontested. I think Peterbot going against a team like Sky and Scroll, Vico Malabuka, competing with teams like that at LAN for the FNCS win and for the trophy, I think that would have been super entertaining to watch. But of course, Clix versus Peterbot off spawn is probably the most hype off spawn you could possibly have. The biggest streamer in Fortnite competitive history versus the best Fortnite player in Fortnite competitive history, fighting off spawn at a LAN, not an FNCS on the region, a LAN. That is going to be super insane to watch, and the content leading up to that is going to be insane as well if they fight in the Division 1 finals this weekend, or all the content at the LAN in the practice room. That's going to be insane as well. And if you guys want to find the updated uppers or lower bracket drop map, you can find those in my Discord, which I will have in the description. And also more information on the FNCS Major 1 Summit you can find in my Discord as well. And you can also use my Discord as a place to chat about Fortnite competitive. I'm very active in there, and so are other people. And if you guys are new to the channel and seeing my videos for the first time, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Or if you're already subscribed and don't have notifications on, make sure to turn those on to never miss out on a breaking news video just like this one, going over Clix now contesting Peterbot at Squibbly at the FNCS Major 1 Summit. And if you enjoyed this video going over that, I would really appreciate it if you dropped a like, leave a comment on the video as well. It helps out the channel a lot. I would really appreciate that. And I've already made a video going over some early predictions for the Major 1 Summit, but now that the drop map is kind of getting a little bit more finalized for the upper bracket, I'll probably make another video going over more predictions for the Major 1 Summit soon. So make sure to stay on the lookout for a video about that. That's going to do it for me in this video, guys. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.